Ripperino. Good effort. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to SCREAMADAY Day 4. And SCREAMADAY Survivors version 0.1.2. Yes, well, earlier it was version 0.1.1. You want the patch notes? Experience per pickup was nerfed. Slightly. Kono was nerfed. I looked into it, and when Kono was active, it was doing 10 attacks per second. So yeah, that was massively overpowered. That's all. It's a lot in the late game, combined with, you know, power-ups, crits. It was definitely not reasonable damage because it was outright flattening everything regardless of its health level towards the end of the game. So Kono was nerfed a bit. It now attacks twice per second while active. I didn't change the behavior of Miniko, no. Apart from that, I did a little fixing up of some other things. I changed the background color of the health bar. Yes, various bug fixes. Mini bosses now scale with the player level at the time of spawn. So when they spawn in, they'll have increased health relative to the level of the player at that time. My code for knockback is a little too... Well, it's a little bit buggy, is what I was going to say. So I think what happened to Omni is, yeah, he got yeeted by the knockback code. And then may have been killed off screen. I'm not totally sure. But that's my guess as to what happened. But yeah, that's about the size of it. I thought I mitigated the restart lag, but we did have a bit there at the end of that game still, so the cause must have been something else. I did a pointless fix of something that didn't fix that problem. Well, it wasn't a pointless fix. It was a good fix. Basically, there was a bug where after the player dies, the game just keeps spawning monsters. Which does not make a lot of sense. There's no particular reward for killing a mini-boss at this time, because that's a half-baked feature. I just wanted to have a channel points feature. So it's essentially right now what you see is what you get, and that's about it. Nope. Just normal monster experience. For now. I'm planning on tweaking that as we go. Nope. All the gems are worth the same. And every monster drops a gem, including mini-bosses. No variance to that. Originally, I had that in mind. But then I got to that point where I implemented the gems just chasing the player down. And I also realized, like, I'm not sure how much point there is to that. It makes sense in Vampire Survivors because you are going around and you're picking up the experience yourself. So having different colored experience that's worth more, and also random drops of experience, makes more sense in that scenario because you can make choices around that. You can choose to prioritize going and grabbing the red gem because you know that's a lot more experience versus prioritizing picking up all the light blue ones, right? I could implement that logic in the character in this, but I don't know if that's a worthwhile feature for this. I think the auto experience pickup and everything is keeps it streamlined and makes sense for this this style of game. Meaning that you're playing sort of indirectly by voting. But I don't want to discount it entirely because in the future, maybe giving the avatar more decision making could make for more interesting gameplay. It's a possibility. So we'll see. Mini bosses do have higher attack and higher health and larger size, and they're named. That's the full mini boss story. Oh, another thing that I should probably just tell you guys, because I don't know how long it'll take you to find out. Damn, I was I was holding off on finishing my sentence because I thought you were about to find out. Clone has been changed from a weapon to a power-up. Well, the thing is that people have been avoiding Clone because it was viewed as the worst weapon. Now, you don't have to avoid it for that reason anymore. That's why I wanted to tell you guys that rather than just let you find out on that one. Went from worst weapon to reasonable power-up? Yeah, it is kind of the opposite of Co no. It's Co yes. Yeah, I got fucked up on that run. That's me shouting why. Why? Clone has just been recategorized. It does the same stuff it did, but now it's a power-up, so it goes in the power-up slots and doesn't take from the weapon slots. And if you're meaning like what does it do at all, it spawns a clone, and upon leveling up more clones, that the monsters shift their targets to, and they start chasing the clones until the clones disappear. I think it's a cool ability, but I ended up agreeing with the sentiment that it doesn't really seem like a weapon. It seems like a passive. Yeah, if it was spelled right, I'm with you. Yeah, I think most of the rest of these can be figured out through careful examination of what's occurring in the game. Yeah, so it's one of those things where I don't think it makes sense necessarily to draw a hard line, because like there's a lot that feel pretty obvious, whether it's a weapon or a power-up, right? But then I think there's a lot that kind of make it feel like the line's a bit more blurry. So really the choice is more so what makes the most sense to offset, right? What feels the best in terms of balance, in terms of choosing what your set of 12 is going to be. Well, I mean, to be honest, they're not named anything in the in the game itself. You could call them square and circle, given the way that I did the UI. A lot of other fixes to do, though. You can basically consider all of the assets as placeholders, for one thing. Apart from the HUD itself, I'm pretty happy with the HUD and the logo. Thank you, thank you. I also experimented with random starting weapon. And I'll say I almost was going to run it tonight just to see, but I don't think you guys would have liked it. I also need to make more abilities in general. Since I shifted clone over to power-ups, there's now shit. I don't quite remember. I think it's that there's six weapons and 7 power-ups right now. But I'd really like you to have a lot more choice paralysis. Oh yeah, I have a few in mind, don't you worry. I almost added one tonight, but I didn't want to get like halfway into it and then run out of time when it's time to start the stream. I have an idea for Yosh that I think it would scale well, I think. Get stash, yeah. Or a fucking branch. Stop working in main. It's funny because I don't use when I'm working on my own shit, I like throw away all the paradigms I use at work. Like, you know, branches and staging and production and all that. Just push it all in main. Yeah, he's been really diving into the swarms. I don't know why. I didn't change anything with regards to his behavior whatsoever, so this is just happenstance. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense when you're not working with anybody else. Although I will say, with the way that this works, where I kind of do need to have a production version that's protected, since that's live every night, I would benefit from having like a staging or branching and then, you know, merging in when I have stuff that's like confirmed, ready to go live. Yeah, you know, I've not ever once done tagging, so I would have to learn that first. need to do a bit of that. But yeah, that would probably be a good way to do it, especially so that I could go back and forth if I need to. He is not a smart bear, but I'd like to make him a smart bear. I'm probably in the future going to do like a decision tree type of approach. Basically, I'm going to give him moods where he'll decide between like being aggro or fleeing, and information or data-based decision making. And that might be another vector that we could exploit for like channel points, interactions, things like that. GG. Hopefully my tweaks weren't too rough on you guys here. It feels like you're getting killed pretty consistently there. We did run a long test today. I put the stream up, had the game running for about 4.5 hours, I guess. And I think the most important thing that we found out of that is it seems like my implementation of event sub-listeners dies after essentially 2 hours on the dot. So I need to examine what I'm doing there. The API is fine. Just what happens is like after around 2 hours, it'll make an API request to start a poll. The poll will start, but event sub is just dead in the water. So I don't get any poll progress or poll end. So the game is just frozen because it's waiting for information that's not going to come. And I didn't implement a timeout. So I don't know what I did there. But I don't think that the first version of my little Twitch bot did it correctly either. I think it had the same problem. So I need to look into like if I can structure it differently so that it'll keep the listeners alive or whatever, so it can just run indefinitely. I mean, people... I don't know how people build like Twitch bots. I assume that they have stuff. They must use listeners. It can't all be just pub sub, right? Is it all pub sub, Zick? That's what I do, and I hate it. Like, I just shut it down just now, and I have to remember to start it up again when we get to the end of the stream, so you can have the end of stream session. Well, but this is an API, or, well, I mean, yeah, it's an API thing, right? And so, I mean, I don't think it's language specific. I think it's more the steps involved. Because, I mean, in JavaScript, all I'm doing is... Let me open it up. Let me open it up. I feel like it's the the approach and not the language itself that's the problem here. So I start up my server. I prepare my auth provider. And then I create an event subclient. I pass event subclient is new API client. I pass that the auth provider. And then I basically pass that event subclient around to do what I want to do. Well, actually, what I do is I then create an event listener. That's what I do. I create an event listener. So I pass the event subclient into that, which has the auth and all that. And I tell that listener to start. And then I have like methods for all the things I want to listen to. So like I'll tell the event sub manager poll begin listen, and I pass in the event listener that I created. I do that for poll begin, poll progress, poll end, and then I have one for points redemptions. So I would assume it's the event listener that is eventually what's stopping listening. But the game has no music dim. It's just Pretzel. Pretzel is supposedly VOD friendly, but what we discovered is that it is not VOD friendly. Even when I had just Pretzel being the music going out to the stream, I was getting blasted with mutes regularly. Well, if I make some music for the game, that will go to the VOD. And I won't be playing Pretzel during that time because the game music will be playing. With the more recent versions of OBS, it's actually super easy to do the audio channel stuff and have the send the music to the abyss. It used to be a pain in the ass because you had to do like virtual audio cable and all that shit, but now you can just do application audio directly in OBS. And it's great. It's great, great, great. But yeah, I wonder how bad it would be to just set up a timer and just re-up the event listener like every, I don't know, like every half an hour or something like that. Nothing crazy. I'm not sure I know how to do that though. I still fiddle around with my my mate, the M8. It's really fun to make music with, and I actually had my mind blown because I sort of knew this already, but I guess I didn't really think about it for a while. But after I got the analog, the first thing I put on it to test the Open FPGA, where I could run like Game Boy cores and stuff like that, was what's it called? I think it's LSDJ, Little Sound DJ, or something. I think that's what it's called. It's the Game Boy tracker that like tons of people use. Like that was the tracker that Chipzel, for instance, made. I think Super Hexagon's soundtrack with. Tons of people use it. It's like it's famous. But I discovered that the M8 tracker and the button layout, the kind of crazy keyboard layout that it has, It's Game Boy. It is just the same. The control scheme, the way like you do edits and the combined button presses, all the hotkeys and everything are exactly the same as on the Game Boy, which is so cool. I am sure of that, Chloe, because I use the same auth provider that I create for both the API client and the event sub client. And the API client stayed alive while the event sub client died, which I believe means that it's still valid. Let me just double check that what I described is what's happening. So my auth provider is a refreshing auth provider. It's probably Twirple terminology, but I'm sure it refers to Twitch stuff too. And looks like I create the event sub doodly do. Okay, I'm making an API manager somewhere here. Oh yeah, API client, new API client, auth provider. So yeah, I'm using the same auth provider. And when it creates a poll, it's just doing API client start poll or API manager start poll. So and it's passing in that API client. What is different in the way the API client works is that Event Sub has this extra step of creating the event listener. Whereas the API client I'm using directly. So the event sub client I am using to create an event listener. Maybe I have to do that every time I want to listen to something. Well, that's another thing is I want to be careful of creating a lot of like I don't want to get booted off of the Twitch API, right? I don't want to get rate limited or whatever, so I have to be careful how I approach this. I can't just try wild stuff with abandon. Anyway, that's a problem for future co. Well, I'm less concerned about Twitch and more concerned about my ability to run the game without being blocked from using the API, right? The game just doesn't work if I can't connect to the Twitch API at all. I don't know if I want to public repo SCREAMADAY Survivors. That was not on my roadmap to do this time around. Also, it's not even that repo. The TwitchBot thing is a separate repo, which is one that I never shared in the past either. Well, currently, yeah, I am, but I would want to make sure that if I'm like re-upping the listeners, that I'm not doing it in a stupid way that somehow creates like 10,000 of them or something in a super short time, because I think that's the limit for like nobodies like myself. I think it's 10,000 over a certain period of time. I don't remember. Oh no, my notes. Oh, they're still here. Yay. Cool. Okay, so where we left off was I determined that all of these are the schemas that are printable on this machine. The thing to probably do from here is to probably finish out the list. Yeah, I love the notes. We just discovered that yesterday, and it blew my fucking mind. Didn't know it was even possible. Okay, so there's nothing. I don't think there's anything on any of the zeros, right? Yeah, okay. Nothing on the zeros. So 12-1 is our first one.
Incorrect raw material for chosen schematic. Not correct material.
It's a heavy duty spanner. Good lord, thermoplastic. This might be a little bit bitch to document. Composite, titanium. And then sonic vibrator, copper, carbon, polypropylene. Hellcat, thank you for 99 months. Also, Robin Bird, thank you for 19 months. Cacob, thank you for 86 months. Very much appreciated, y'all. Then 11-2. Sonic joiner. Composite. Most of these are probably going to end up being irrelevant, is the funny thing. And then 10-3. I don't even know how you say that. Atomicent? Don't know what that is. Carbon, polypropylene. Just use some standard abbreviations that you don't know. Because I deeply don't know them. Next up is 3-4. Soil manipulator. Copper, carbon. We only have copper and gold, so it might just be that there's only one thing that you can actually make. I'm going to document them nevertheless. Atmo Flux Assistor. Eight, 5. Atmo Flux Driver. Ooh. Why waste your time with Sonic Vibrator Mark 1 when you can get Mark 2? 7-6. Manipulator. Part H. I feel like if the devs saw this happening, they would be cackling. Oh, balls. Okay. So we have to get the first number first here. Because you can't do 7-7, so it skipped over it. Medical Vokmax. Composite. Titanium. Carbon. 5-8. Bobby Wrench. My friend Bobby Wrench. And then 7-8. Tipped screwdriver. Yeah, I'm almost positive at this point that we're only going to be able to make one thing from this. So far, we haven't hit anything that is just copper and gold. Nothing that has gold in it at all, actually. And then 4-9. Oh, very next one has gold. Ventus Joiner. Compose it. And I don't think it would be any of the ones that have the exact same materials as other things, because then which thing would you make, right? Fiber crimper. Uh, 310. Geogen meter. It must have been fun coming up with all these. Need to name a bunch of goofy parts. We're almost there. We're almost there. I feel like this name does not describe the thing that we're looking at. That looks like wire cutters to me. It does not look like an oil basin by any means. Yeah, it doesn't seem quite right. 1110. Ah, here we are. This is the thing we need. Found it finally. I'm still going to document the rest of these because I'm a sicko. I'm a freak. I'm disgusting. We also need thermoplastic. Okay. Oh, balls. There we go. Hi. Is this... Did they typo this? Herdocom valve. Shouldn't it be hydrocom? Maybe herdo is a thing. Ten 11. What? 1110 and 1011 are the same thing? With the same recipe, even. That's weird. I think that's the only... That's the only dupe we've hit. How strange. Why would that be? That's gonna bother me for a while. Unless there's another matching pair. Vortex clamp, copper, gold, carbon. And finally, M9 bolt cutters, my beloved titanium. Yeah, just control board on 1110 and 1011. Why? Why? I don't know. At any rate, we need thermoplastic. Surprised we can't recover materials from this. That's all the items we have. Oops. Right, so thermoplastic. Fuck if I know. I think we have to find it somewhere else.
Let us embrace Cain's teaching and follow his commandments, for they are the path to true enlightenment and spiritual growth.
Unless I pass something up along the way here. Wasn't there another one that cost copper and gold but not thermoplastic? Yeah, vortex clamp, copper, gold, and carbon. But no, that's it. Look at that thing. What is that thing? It's so big. I don't think I read that before. A locked door is signaled by the lethargic red spinning hologram. You're not sure if it makes you feel better to know it's to keep you inside or keep something else out. There's nothing to this. That's just for fun. Just fun and games. I think we were all done with all this stuff. It would be silly, because we got 2 of the materials we need from this guy. I wouldn't imagine we'd get the other one we need from that guy as well. Yeah, I think we have to get it from somewhere else. So I'm gonna have to see what the bear or Charlie can do. Mac is stuck. Yeah, the water looks sick in this. They did a great job on that. A lot of really nice effects in this. The only negative I have to say at all is just that I often feel like most of the environments feel like they're much too dark. And it's a game that's meant to be dark, but there's just like
Kane's
I want to
love for
see.
us is unconditional and unchanging. He is always there for us, guiding and protecting us on our journey through life.
There may be something more here that I didn't complete. Because there were all those symbols on this computer over here, but then we did the surgery bit. This has got to still be like an active puzzle, right? Yeah. This is probably the next thing for the bear, but there's just nothing else for us to do right there. And then there's this middle room, which we just can't get into at all. So that leaves my Charlie. No jump path to target. I wasn't really expecting these to do anything. But I'm just checking stuff. Who knows what might happen? Nothing at all. Did I miss something that she can do? Is there something our man can do with strength? Maybe? Did I already try strength on this? I feel like I did. Yeah. I don't know if I tried strength on everything. Maybe I should try that. Just to check. Like, maybe you can break this apart and get the materials. Thermoplastic. Nice. We should start charging Kane for maintenance at this point.
If you have any doubts today, please notify your nearest church member and use Form HGB 6002 to express your concerns.
Crane controls remote access granted.
Good job.
My Mac.
Waiting for Axis input, eh?
Charlie, watch out. I'm trying the crane.
It's working. It works, Mac.
Problem is, the currents out there will just sweep it right back where it was. I'm going to have to hold it in place with the controls. I'd hurry. I don't know how long I can keep it still.
Okay, I'm going.
We're being watched.
Okay. Ready. Ready to jump.
Jump trajectory calculated. 83% success threshold calculated.
Please be careful, Charlie.
Yeah. What the bear said. We sure about this? I may not be able to hold her still.
You always come through for me.
You always trust me too much.
No, I don't. Trajectory is locked.
Take your time. I mean, you know, not too
Maybe don't
much
block her
time.
view.
I can't hold this thing still forever. I just
Mac?
mean... right. Okay.
Right. Okay. This could have gone better. Mac,
Well, she probably weighs
I
like
made it.
somewhere between 500 and 800 pounds.
Charlie.
Good job, girl. Hurry up, though. That thing could tear loose any second.
Yeah.
Nice. The interior of the Fido submersible rover is flooded. Nevertheless, after it has been depressurized and flushed, we can safely journey to the surface. Don't we want to repressurize it?
All right. Who wants to go home?
We will leave soon.
Will we?
Do we want to just resume last operation? What if it was to scuttle the rover? I guess that's right. One step forward, 1,000,000 steps back. That was really cool.
The Fido just went dead.
What do you mean it went dead?
I mean, it just went dead.
Maybe the power systems are cycling up to...
Oh, God.
This is, harrowing.
Charlie?
Oh, no.
Charlie, get out of there! Get out of there!
Ooh. Huh?
Mac, we are 100% unpacking this stuff today. Mac? Typical. Series 3 operator. Mac's dad never made 3. He never had a family like this either. He always said, careful what you take on. Get too much, you tempt fate. I keep telling him, that's just old man and the sea paranoia.
After careful review of your application, including the comprehensive salvage plan, environmental impact assessment, safety protocols, and insurance information, we are pleased to inform you that your request for the Ocean Salvage Barge License KDK-12 has been approved. We are impressed by the thoroughness and commitment to responsible salvage operations demonstrated in your application. It is evident that your team possesses the expertise and dedication necessary to ensure the preservation of marine ecosystems and the recovery of significant refuse.
So fast. All you have to do is blink.
Story's end.
Charlie? Charlie is okay? Charlie is okay?
Moses. What?
Charlie? Charlie?
Mac. Mac, I'm here. I'm okay. What happened?
I don't know. An explosion, I think.
You reinstated the procedure to destroy the facility. A procedure many gave their lives to stop.
Well, you're a lot more coherent suddenly.
The detonation removed something. Some kind of inhibiting. I have not been myself for some time, I do not think.
Mac? Moses? Where are you? Are you hurt?
Moses is unharmed. Moses is alone.
I'm in this dig site, or whatever the hell it is. I'm not hurt, but it's flooding bad in here. I think this whole place is about to vanish.
Fido's done for too. It's wrecked and...
Warning. Your asset integrity compromised. Energy reserves below 20%.
My suit's damaged. Losing power. I think I'm in trouble.
You never should have come here. We have that in common.
Well, that guy's becoming a lot more interesting, eh? Oh, yeah. Where would she be now? This was hanging from the crane. The rover's mechanical arms shudder in their crushed state, irrevocably crippled after the cacophonous conclusion. The proposed escape vehicle from this watery grave is all but lost. Metal tracks lead down a tunnel drilled through the rock. An attached screw pipe reveals the tracks were built to allow a hulking device to move along them.
Rover is basically crushed. We're not going anywhere in this.
Warning. Dive suit integrity compromised. Energy reserves below 20%.
So we need another way out. You're running out of time. I can help you, but there is a price.
And what's that?
I have been here. I can't remember how long. Trapped. Help me, and I will help you.
So, what? We find you, you get us out of here?
That is my offer.
And how are you going to do that, exactly?
There is another drone. The Kalan. I know where it is, how to access it. Free me, and I will take us all to it.
Moses and I can work on finding this guy, wherever he is. Charlie, you work on getting back inside.
Energy reserves below 20%.
Yeah.
And make it quick.
Yeah, that guy doesn't seem good. Muddy ground. The ground here is covered in a thick layer of muddy silt. Treading over the clag is like wading over a surface of thick slime, each step threatening to pull your legs from under you. Bulbous, warty growths have formed from ancient magma droppings, bled and bubbled downwards from some higher volcanic vein. No power detected.
Power connection achieved. Mobile mining platform active. Warning. Dive suit energy reserves diminished.
Oh, great.
What is it?
I found some kind of mobile mining rig. It was dead, so I powered it with my suit.
You don't have much power left, Charlie.
Exactly. But I did get it running.
I don't know what would go in that. Nothing that I have on me, I don't think. Yeah. Alright. Probably something to come back to. The imposing conduit, wrapped in a thick aluminum-coated blanket, funnels bundles of power cabling from the nearby machine and into the tunnel. Beyond the rocky outcrop hangs a cloak of dusty blackness, vomiting out waves of cold current to crash against you. Large metal supports ring the entrance of the tunnel, securing the entryway against potential collapse.
Mac, look at this.
You were right. They were digging. That's a boring machine.
If you are at the dig site, then you are near the legacy base. The first installation.
You mean Site Alpha?
Yes. Precisely.
How did you know that name, Charlie?
It's on the computers down here for the mining setup.
Warning. Energy reserves below 15%.
I have to keep moving.
Energy reserves below 15%.
Drill platform. The tunnel has suffered for its exciting burst of activity, now partly buried in the cave-in of its own making. The walls bear violent scarring from the drill, rent grooves spiraling the... Oops, that was moving my cursor. Spiraling the length of the tunnel. Shards and shrapnel carpet the ground, crunching below your feet like cat litter. Stalagmites. The mud-clogged tunnel is flanked by a drapery of jagged stalagmites, straining out from the river of mud as if escaping suffocation.
Heavy on the central apparatus. 113A. Connection established.
Okay, good.
Warning. Energy reserves below 15%.
Okay, not so good. Should be able to get the core sample out, though.
Okay. And that would let us run the drill, I assume? Yeah, Kane just couldn't find any voice actors for their robots that were happy to do the job. This is used in mining operations to core out rock analysis samples. The internal capacitor powers a mini laser fusion jet of superheated matter along a narrow cutting plane. The housing hasn't stood up to the elements and is coming apart at the seams. Mac could probably help it along. Right. Ah, yes, things are fine. Scanner, microfusion laser. I busted open the core sampler and tore out this gizmo. It's a little small, but it could probably cut through any nasties we encounter. Slice and dice a locking bolt, and still fry up a sausage for breakfast. This brings back some unpleasant memories of motion trackers and dark corridors. Nice.
The umbilical's gone. No way back to the mule.
Your only choice is to go deeper. I do not envy you.
Wouldn't there be more water down here? Oh, it's flowing down. But somehow not really pooling down here.
This whole place is coming down.
You must enter the temple. You have no other choice.
The temple? Temple to what?
It doesn't matter. Get out of there, Mac.
Great day I'm having here.
Knocked loose by an avalanche of crushing rubble, the scaffolding has by chance served as a protective sheet against the falling rocks from above. Knocked down by the collapsing scaffolding, the ancient postern has fallen into the wet ground, obliterating the equipment and electronics below it. A briny torrent roars as it bursts through the compromised entrance, rapidly drowning the dig site in freezing salt slush. The looming figure stands barely visible in what little light remains, now poised to stare and ponder at the rushing ocean tumbling to reclaim it. The collapsed debris has made a mockery of the carefully carved steps, burying them in rock and mud. The dome padding shudders slightly as the exterior structure strains to retain its shape, despite the slow crush of the ocean tearing its way in. Portions of disintegrating architecture litter the ground, a hailstorm of murderous rock pulverizing whatever hapless infrastructure is unfortunate enough to be underneath. Shattered under fallen rocks, the pumps betray their function, discharging seawater into the dome in tandem with the ruptured umbilical passageway. Imagine if I had left Mac in the other room. I would assume he'd be dead, right? Wet rock and sediment slowly slide down, gradually smothering the floor in graveled muck.
This temple, or whatever the hell it is, it's through here.
Mac, hurry.
Well, Kane, damn it.
Language, Mac.
What happened?
I dropped the laser. Hold on.
Okay, great.
Please explode!
Foxmore, thank you for the biddies. The scanner is interesting, but I don't see how it helps us. Like, this is cool and all. We may need some other piece here. Oh, shit. Oh, I guess we won't be using the terminal. The defunct control panel has been painted with gore. Lumps and strands of cerebral flesh lie caught in between blood-flooded keys. Entrails of wires and cabling lie strewn about the floor, dislodged and disgorged from their sparking conduits. Tiny orange flames lick the ceiling and melt the plastic insulation. The trembling cerebral cortex emits a weird scratching sound, as if something were trying to escape.
What the hell was that?
Charlie Mac.
I don't know what it is. Some dark truth of this place. One of many. I have only heard it.
Scary things. Safer here.
Moses, you have to start moving.
Safer here. Safer here.
Its cries. They are wrong. I would hear them. Far away.
Stay here. Stay here.
I know you're scared, sweetheart. I am too. But we need your help. Please. Mose, we can't make it out of here without you.
Moses is brave. Moses is strong.
Scope lens. Psst. That is really doing some stuff. Oh, it's empty. I forgot. Or didn't notice.
Guess what? Ah!
Okay, well, we can do something else with this, but I'm not sure what. It's fun looking at myself. I'm such a dirty little toy. A gaping vent in the structure wall violently burst open by detonation. Fumes of burning plastic and charred rubble linger in the air. Namiko, thank you for the biddies.
Scary things? No scary things. Yet.
The creature from the brain. Whatever it is, you likely have not seen the last of it.
I am brave and strong.
I hope so, my friend. I hope so. For both our sakes.
This area of the labs appears notably cleaner and better equipped.
Sure not to spend working hours in piety. The workplace is the ideal place to discover more about yourself.
Your body is a temple, a vessel, if you will. So keep things pure and tidy for the mother's sake.
Employment should be your vessel. Work is when you feel most alive, loved, accessible.
Kane's nature is to shine the light of understanding into the world's darkest regions. But remember, dying is the hard part. On the other hand, working is easy, and the Nexus awaits us after death.
The bench broadcasts discomfort. The artificial trees are an awkward attempt to inject life into an otherwise sterile environment, their taut plastic leaves motionless in the face of tumbling smoke and stirring air currents. Assorted pipes funnel gas into a network of storage containers. Behind clouds of choking smoke, a conflagration feeds ardently on wisps of gas leaking from the combusted piping. Pops of flame burst out from a ruptured gas pipeline, spewing out reams of chemical smoke that singe the nostrils. The wooden bench is a surreal anatopism, exacerbated by the presence of counterfeit trees. In an ironic twist, the attempt to inject some sense of coziness has only succeeded in making the environment more desolate.
Please select subsystem.
Okay. We need more information here. The massive door hangs from the reinforced steel frame. It is grubby and scratched, clad in a smorgasbord of splattered blood and minced flesh.
This door is locked. This door is extra locked.
I hear you, Moses. I hear you. Just outside. Just outside.
That's not good.
This is my lab.
Great. Work on getting him out of there. I'm on my way.
My Mac.
That's definitely not good. Huh. Okay. Half a dozen gas cylinders line the walls amidst a web of interconnected piping. Thick flames curl up from blackened steel and shattered piping. The security monitoring station is perpetually broadcasting to the artifact storage lab. Its screen is ablaze with alerts and warnings. Locked broadcasting audio to artifact storage lab. Figured I'd try. Take a look. Lovely.
You are in artifact storage.
Pools of stagnant water flood the workspace, glittering under bright fluorescent lights, sustained by the occasional drip excreted from a damp, warped ceiling. Dark, pungent smoke rolls out from the vent, tinged with the scent of charred electrical wire and burned plastic. Arrayed before the artifact, the row of monitoring equipment appears to have been testing for radiometric dating and material consistency. The terminal is mostly used for storing images and sending messages. A collection of archaeological chemicals and equipment stand over treated samples of rocks and material scraps. A warped sheet of corrugated iron, tinted with rust and bearing the symbols something Cyrillic C555.
Pieces and parts. This would be a fun puzzle.
An apt analogy, my friend. A puzzle solved too late.
Mac, are you seeing this? Look at the artifacts. The stone, it's like the one we saw before, but the symbol.
It's Soviet Russian. What the hell?
Hope loved puzzles.
The soiled red banner is coated in grime and reeks of damp decay. Portions of the fiber have been cut away, leaving pockmarks in the material, but the red star badge insignia stitched in gold thread still stands proud. A metallic plate riddled with corrosion, torn from some structure of a vessel. The paint on the embossed emblem has chipped and faded with age, but the words Red Fleet are legible. Very interesting. Observation control. The specimen observation enclosure can be secured by a robust metal door, but for a splatter of dark stains and the stinging odor of aged detergent, it appears unused. Empty organic sampler. Hell yeah.
Empty.
An observation pod, my friend. With nothing to observe.
Like this, something could get out.
Or in.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Mortuary
Ooh,
cabinet open.
Fuck me.
Reseal to avoid thawing.
Charlie, look at the uniforms.
Yeah, they're Soviet too.
A damp tang of rot emanates from the bodies, partially preserved by whatever tomb they were extracted from. The archaic woolen clothing is stained and weathered, reminiscent of the oldest world wars. Comrade Kirill, you must commandeer 3 units from the locked storage. First, locate the thermite ingredients: potassium, ferric oxide, and aluminum. Then meet me in the pantry. Okay. Who's playing a toy piano right now? And why? Just a brain hanging out, doing stuff. Wow. Is this a reference to the WoW signal? Do not know what's going on here. Liza Simpson, anthropologist. Reggie used to spend his days at my feet, and now he sits on my desk in a well-preserved position of prominence. He will always be my most cherished possession. After all, the loyal pup was awarded to me by Cain himself upon his glorious rebirth. The anthropological laboratory is well stocked, as my Chaka position demands. The specimens are mostly well preserved. My assistant is an adequate aid and welcome company, despite some squeamishness on his part. I've begun analyzing the samples, starting with the 3 sets of human remains discovered in the ocean floor during construction of the thermal reactor. Low temperatures aided in their preservation. Initial dating puts them in the late 20th century, with clothing suggesting Soviet military personnel circa the 1980s. The cause of death has not been established conclusively, but there are signs of malnutrition and starvation. I will perform a dissection to study their diet after this recording. Then I will begin an initial pass on the anthropological specimens supplied by Dr. Moon. Didn't the tooltip over those bodies say that they were dressed like they were from the First World Wars? Which did not take place in the 1980s. Yeah, everybody had to VHS tape themselves for their IDs. That's how it works in the future. Yeah, zoom in and out on yourself. Look wildly at the walls and stuff. There is a definite incongruence with the specimens received by Baron, which appear to be much older. Oh, there must be different sets of specimens. I've looked into the signal that drew Kane Corporation to this place. The WoW signal. The instruction set is naval, using defunct Soviet encryption on a ULF, 12 seconds repeating. How could this signal emanate from the bottom of the Pacific 150 years after the fall of the Soviet Union? That tells us when this takes place. Irrelevant to my research, but fascinating. The message requests the evacuation of 32 crew in good health. Judging by the 3 fellows I've been studying, help never came. In other news, my relationship with the new assistant is deteriorating. He recoiled in disgust when he saw Reggie, horrified that I'd put the dog on display. It's bizarre that a man who works with human remains is bothered by a beautiful work of animal taxidermy. Nevertheless, I've noted to discuss the matter with management and church officials. Sorry, message. I have been asked to break bread with Celaya on Cane Day. Reggie, this calls for a real celebration. We retrieved patient 818386, although the infection had rendered him unconscious by the time we found him. We've placed him in a hyperbaric chamber for further study. He claims to have no memory of his infection vector. The medics don't know if his condition is contagious, so they are taking all possible precautions. Initial scans show his brain is in a state of constant activity that looks like dreaming. We're going to jury-rig some devices to record his thoughts. What worries us most is that the infection is dissolving his biomatter. Hair, skin, and muscle are falling to the floor. Several of his organs are failing. Further expeditions into the well have been halted until we know more. 818386's affliction is morbidly fascinating. I've spent nights watching his body's slow deterioration through the glass portals. I even catch myself speaking to him when we're alone, airing my frustrations as if he were my therapist. I didn't expect to find therapeutic sanctuary in the disintegrating miracle that is my grouchy former assistant, but here we are. Kane delivers when all seems lost. 2141, huh? Over the past year, most of his body mass has sloughed off, but his brain and nervous system remain intact. Wait, so those were photos of her assistant? And his name is Reggie. Is this the part of the game where they just dump a whole bunch of references? Although I guess this is kind of the opposite of my body is Reggie. But his brain and nervous system remain intact. They appear to be functioning normally, although they are sending and receiving ghost signals. He seems blissfully unaware of his predicament. This isn't a Russian. This is her assistant. Thanks to this horrific miracle of biology, we have resumed efforts to record his thoughts. If we can make sense of the data, we may gain some insight into his affliction. The first recording should be ready within the hour. Celaya, I know you wanted to be kept personally abreast of any new developments with our patient. The first recordings of 818386 are possibly more astounding than his physical condition. He's remained fully cognizant. At the same time, he appears to be experiencing some confusion surrounding his memories, which he already mentioned when he was first quarantined. We've requested that a relevant specialist be sent here to help us. Until then, we'll keep monitoring and recording. I continue to visit him whenever I can. Somehow, even when I was talking to my dog, I didn't realize how desperate I was for companionship. The shock of his condition, life pared down to a fragile network of signals, has forced me to admit how far away from everything I feel, trapped in this claustrophobic complex at the bottom of the ocean, working toward what exactly? Dr. Hairfest has concluded that 818386's visions are real memories, but they are bleeding into him from an external source. He is inheriting the memories from something. The notion is unsettling, but we can't deny that 818386's memories frequently corroborate new findings to which he is not privy. Does he understand that these memories are not his own? Or is he beginning to think they're his real memories? Is he trapped in those moments? Dr. Hairfest has identified the cause of 818386's condition, foreign microbes resembling a fungal growth in his brain. Dr. Moon codified the microbe as a more complex strain of PS139. As I'm sure you know, a protoform of PS139 is what drew Kane here in the first place, and why the original Alpha base was built. Meanwhile, we are investigating ways to establish a continuous feed of his thoughts so he can talk to us directly. Is it strange that I've come to see him as a friend despite his condition? I think about what it would be like to experience other people's memories as my own. What happens to your sense of self when you feel like you've lived 100 lives? This lady's fucked up. She's super fucked up. Yeah. I like how you added the extra your after paint to sort of complete the trifecta of using your incorrectly in every way possible. Because the one that you gave, so you used it wrong in 2 instances. So the your that you provided is either right or wrong. Sorry, it was just a work of art. I had to comment on it. The doctor is waxing poetic about an arrowhead that is the source of the infection. I am surrounded by idiots. I miss peaceful strolls to commune with the Father and watch the light show. At least he understands. Liza, you are too close to the subject, and this project has exceeded your scope of expertise. I've put in a formal request with corporate for your transfer off the mule. Reggie, what am I to do? Oh. I confused the dog and the assistant. Reggie is the dog, the dead dog. But the brain is definitely her assistant. He's just not named Reggie. Somewhere along the line, I decided that the assistant's name was Reggie. I think we've done all there is to done in here. For the moment. Let us vent.
Oh, no. Charlie Mac. Scary things.
I see it, baby. It's okay.
That's the creature that came out of the brain vat tumor.
It cries.
I do not like this.
He needs a way around it.
There is no alternate route, I'm afraid.
Then he has to move it.
Move it.
It's all hands. We have to move it. You know, just checking all the things. It does not make good sounds. I do not like the sounds it make. So we do have a bunch of stuff here. I mean, I would imagine what we would want to do is to get it in here. But how does we do it? A? What did this say? Yeah. Not super duper helpful. I don't need this anymore. Just to remind me of that later. I was thinking maybe an organic sample, but yeah. Let's collect death number 4. I'm sure it'll be fine. He's a toy. It was just beating the shit out of him with all of its hands. Okay. Not very useful. A complete gamble if this leads to anything, but I'll take anything we can find at this point. It still works. Genuinely impressed that both the mechanism and the fluid have survived this long. This must have been built for aggressive organic sampling. It drills in, sucks in fluid, and can spit it back out. Charming. One limp electro shrimp. Let's keep our eyes open for another cartridge. There are always locks to be cut and grates to bust. High reflective, coated with a mirror finish. It looks like it was intended to reflect or redirect some industrial light beam.
Well, it worked. Believe it or not, the lock's cut open.
Mac must hurry.
Whoa.
Loud noises.
Tell me about it.
What happened? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Got through the door, right as the dig site collapsed behind me. Made it. Barely.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Where are you now?
Give me a second.
It's a good thing they have insanely good communicators that work no matter what's going on wherever they are. We're at the Dick site. The cinematography of the cutscenes never fails to astound me. I love it, but it is hilariously goofy. The camera is just straight up in their business, and you can hardly tell what's happening. Half the time when I'm watching the cutscenes, I don't know what I'm actually looking at. And it is great. I really like it a lot. Stone heads. A gallery of malformed stone heads glance and leer about, frozen in the perpetual fascination of those who find themselves wandering these long dead halls. Ribbed protrusions of color. Oh, ribbed protrusions the color of curdled dairy seesaw along the walls. A carved simulacrum of gills and fish scales. An odd dozen sandbags form a short wall, cordoning off the cadaverous carvings from passing traffic. The hallway is strutted by concentric metal beams, a human intrusion enforcing a sense of control and man-made order within this inhuman terrain. The emplaced lights disperse the darkness into the hallway's recesses, the illumination as much an intrusion into these halls as the scientists who pried them open. The carved figures within the hallway have undergone a macabre tonal shift. Whereas the sculpture by the entrance was adorned by jewelry, those within this shrouded hallway depict flayed bodies in brooding positions. Which rocks. Just guys being dudes. Yeah. Calendar structure, the circular design of the something resembles the Mayan long count calendar, known for its complex system of counting days, months, and years. Something analysis suggests a similar hierarchical structure. Astronomical alignments, the inscriptions on the artifact include notations of solar and lunar cycles, as well as celestial events like solstices and eclipses, reminiscent of the Mayans' strong astronomical focus. It might say Mayans. Yeah, very squinting old lady. I mean, it's teeny weeny. Hieroglyphic text. While the hieroglyphs used are distant from those in traditional Mayan calendars, some symbols bear striking similarities, hinting at a sacred linguistic or cultural connection, a shared linguistic or cultural connection. So this is some Mayan-ass bullshit, apparently. Calendar end date. The calendar appears to extend well beyond the Maya long count, with an end date that surpasses the one recorded in the Maya civilization. This raises questions about the origins of this calendar and the civilization that created it. Implications and research goals. The discovery of this mysterious calendar raises several critical questions and avenues for further investigation. Shared cultural heritage. Could this calendar, as evidence of an ancient shared cultural heritage, could this calendar, that's what it says, as evidence of an ancient civilization with close ties to the Maya, possibly a can't read that. Possibly a something culture that influenced or was influenced by the Maya civilization. I just cannot read that word. Advanced astronomy. This indicates astronomical notations on the calendar. The intricate astronomical notations on the calendar suggest a deep understanding of celestial phenomena. Further research aims to explore the calendar's potential contributions to our knowledge of ancient astronomy. No, there's no tooltip or anything for this. Long count variations. The calendar's extended long count may hold clues about a different approach to tracking time and historical events. Understanding its purpose and usage could provide valuable insights into the society that created it. We did it. Mostly. I've read like 90% of it. Rampart. A wall of sandbags forms a protective rampart, while also allowing easier access to those who'd brave a closer inspection of the morbid effigy. Oh, this looks awesome through here. How are all these rats down here? I wanna know. The bespeckled carpet of bioluminescent lights bleeds out from the carved cavity, birthing coral-like growths from where the light pools into alcoves and bends around nooks. Tom nooks? Clusters of inky crystals jut outwards from the rock, a mineral detonation trapped in time. Birthing gateway. A gargantuan stone torso rears up from the ground, its belly bent open to allow travel through toothed ribs. A disquieting maternal aura emanates from the sculpture, the Caesarean passageway promising a contrived rebirth for those who emerge, and unbirth for those who enter. An ancient crane built from...
It's time for you to come!
built from wood, cord, and metal. Hey, Lindley, thank you for the biddies. Despite apparent age and deterioration, it has remained standing. A burly slab of rock serves as the crane's counterweight, housed within a prison of straining wood, the merest shiver threatening to tear it free and plunge it into a calamitous descent. How do they have all this wood down here? How'd they get that down here, huh? How'd they do that, eh? Palisade. A jagged palisade has been constructed around this platform, both it and the floor built from aged and rotting wood, seemingly much older than the recent intrusion of modern Kane infrastructure.
Oh, jeez. That is a long drop.
Distance to bottom of crevice is incalculable.
Well, that makes me feel better.
What are you going to do?
Gotta get across, obviously. Need to bridge the gap. Somehow.
Twisted bridge. The splintered remains of a modern bridge subjected to some catastrophe or sabotage. Okay. Uh-huh.
Charlie, you see this? The reaction in the metal?
Yeah. It's amazing. Some sort of chemical reaction?
He just said it's a metal reaction.
And like everything else here, one better left alone.
Wish I had the luxury.
Ass. Balls. Extra balls. I broke it? It's whiling out, y'all. Huh? What are you talking about with brute force? I wonder if that changed anything or did anything. Don't know why that would do anything. I don't know what this. Maybe I broke it? I didn't get anything I can work with. I don't know that it's broken. But we can check. Oops. The Katamari point-and-click adventure. This is before doing the door.
Well, it worked. Believe it or not, the lock's cut open.
Mac must hurry.
Normally, yeah. Okay, there we go. I was hitting escape and it wasn't skipping it.
Loud noises.
Tell me about it. Yeah, made it. Give me a second.
Now I have to read this all over. Just kidding. Yeah, I don't think it was broken. I'm just double checking.
This is too bad.
Well, that makes me... Gotta get across up.
So I think this is just a turn all the lights on puzzle.
Charlie, you see this?
Yeah.
An ancient...
Wish I had the lug.
What do you want from me? I think we need another piece that we don't have. Let's check with Charlie. Balls. Didn't mean to actually click on him. I wanted his items. Insert sample for analysis. She said we should be able to get the core sample from that thing, but we did not get a core sample from that thing. Not even a little bit. And none of this is going to do anything here. Okay, so my options on the table right now is Charlie at the mining machine in need of a sample. Moses, we need to move the monster, but no clue at the moment how. And then this, we need to figure out what's going on with this. What did this do? What did this change, if anything? That didn't start the crane. But it has other interfaces. It's got the 2 buttons. As far as this place goes, we're stuck here. I did not mean to open this. Nothing seems to have changed. Wait a second. Something changed. I walked past this. This portion of the wall has been carved out and bound by straps, made ready for terminally delayed transportation and analysis. A grotesque invertebrate mounts its hapless prize. The tip of its insectile head burrowed deeply through a tear in the hazmat suit. The plastic around the tear undulates as hidden Hostellum quaff flesh liquefied by injected toxins, while probing mandibles spoon up crumbling meaty porridge.
Oh, Cain's reign.
Is it... it's still alive?
The creature is, not the poor bastard underneath it.
An unpleasant end.
Maybe you can cut it off him?
That would mean getting close to it. This thing's blood. It melted right through the metal.
Cutting it open didn't stop it?
No. It's writhing. It didn't even notice, I'd say.
Very little would stop it. It is a higher form.
Compared to what?
Strange. Kind of reminds me of the things from Tremors 2. With the sort of 3-way opening face. Huh. Okay, it doesn't seem like we can do anything else to that. Dr. Abdulaziz Al-Kabur, Archaeological Geology. Looks like Vincent Price. Dear Mom and Dad, I'm writing to share with you the fantastic news that I have been transferred to a new facility. I'm excited about this opportunity and can't wait to... This dude looks like he's 1,000 years old. Dear Mom and Dad? I guess it is 2141 or whatever. Maybe nobody dies anymore. They keep them all alive in a... I mean, unless something like this happens to them. They keep them all alive in a debt prison. I'm excited about this opportunity and can't wait to share all the details with you in person. The work I am doing here is truly groundbreaking, and I am grateful to be able to make such meaningful contributions to my field. I am also thrilled to let you know that my superior mentioned the possibility of a bonus leave if I continue to excel in my work. I miss you both and can't wait to see you again on the ring. Until then, please know that my love for you is as strong as ever, and you are always in my thoughts. Abdul. I looked closer at the drone footage of the ancient water wheels surrounding Black Sand Beach. They were primarily used for milling. What's even more fascinating is the substance they were grinding. The millstones are coated in a fine white powder. I had it tested and it turned out to be bone dust. Human bone. Why they were grinding remains a mystery. Ceremonial use, dietary supplementation, animal feed? Hold on a second, I have to check on a possible shenanigans situation. I will be right back. Ooh. Hello. There were shenanigans. Whenever they suddenly go trotting off, shenanigans are assumed. Yeah, I'm talking about you. You better wag. Yeah, hi. Oh no, they didn't get away with shit. They were caught. You were caught. Message to Dave Gallagher. I understand the company's desire to expand Omega deeper into the cave system. Still, there's no practical way of doing it without damaging sections of the excavation site. Do we really need a STEM station down here? These ruins are still mostly unexplored, but their inhabitants were remarkable, even from what little we know. Their technology was far more advanced than any other civilization from this period by hundreds of years. The historical significance of these findings cannot be overstated. They could change everything we know about our earliest ancestors. I implore you to halt expansion until we can find a way to preserve the ruins. At the very least, allow me to plead my case in person when you arrive next week. A C-14 sample from the oldest milled bones has been dated 1650 AD. Meanwhile, the structures themselves go back thousands of years. Perhaps the sample was contaminated? Either way, we must keep the site intact until we understand what we're dealing with. The core samples we drilled at 5671 Hertz at 1.29 meters per second squared indicate that most of the cave system comprises calcic plagioclase, sanidine with augite, olivine, and small amounts of leucite. This is unusual for the region, especially the ocean floor. The weathering further suggests this outcrop was exposed to sun and wind some 2,000 years ago. Plagioclase? Plagioclase? Today my heart is heavy with grief. I received the terrible news that Yvette was tragically injured. The thought of informing Captain Haskeen up top is just horrid. The loss is truly devastating. Ah, okay. Thank you, Doug. I am, as you may have guessed, not. I found the critters that escaped from animal testing. They were breeding in the refrigeration tanks. I don't know what my colleagues were doing with them in the lab. Still, they should be more careful. Those things are nasty. Fluoroantimonic, acidic blood, and all. Got word of the base lockdown. Guess I'm going to be stuck here for a while. I'm not complaining. Message to all Mule crew. You can't keep moving people into the temple, even if the quarantine lasts only a few days. They are damaging an incredibly valuable excavation site. Find another place to put them. Everybody has piled into the Prime Omega laboratory. My claustrophobia kept me out here. It has been so tranquil. Where is everybody? The decon chamber alarm was going nuts. I looked through the lab door. It was piled high with congealed torsos. At first glance, I could see something that looked like a gnarled tree with knotted branches and a twisted trunk, but upon closer inspection, its branches were made up of human arms and legs, twisted and contorted into grotesque shapes. The trunk was composed of torsos, stacked one on top of the other, their eyes and mouths open in eternal screams of agony. The creature seemed to pulsate with life, its limbs writhing and twitching as if it were in constant pain. Every now and then, a blood-curdling scream would emit from their mouths. I've collapsed the bridge to ensure it stays in the lab. I don't fear death, for I know nothing is left to experience pain once my mind is gone. But I would have liked to explore more of the world and uncover our shared past. Alas, even this current project, which will take my life, remains unfinished. The many stories in these walls waiting to be told will not find their interpreter in me. There is comfort in meeting my end locked up in a temple erected by a lost civilization. It is a good death for an adventurer. If you find this log, please have my body sent to the corpse ring for burial. I promised my parents I would return to them. Okay, his parents were dead. I was thinking to myself, maybe at some point he's gonna reveal that he's just writing to his dead parents. And I was right. Okay, so that's a whole thing. So there's this. This opened up to whatever this is feeding on this guy. And this is all the stuff we have. And this stuff doesn't do nothing to this. Did I check all these? I really thought we were going to get like an organic sample from this thing. I'm pretty sure I rubbed all these things against the fissure there. Did I do it in the right spot? Yeah. We need either something that deals with that creature, or something that gets us a core sample, or something that gets us past the other creature. And it's not going great so far. I'm thinking maybe I need to explore around Charlie's area here a bit more. I'm just checking to see if any of these things combine. I don't think any of them would. None of them make sense, but it feels like it's worth checking, right? Nada. So we can't break any of these things. We can't combine any of these things. Let me explore Charlie's vicinity here. In a final act of spiteful retribution, the submersible has dragged and torn both the cable and crane down along with it, the sturdy metal pinning the rover to its newfound grave. I don't think there was anything else here. Other than that, Charlie moves really fucking slowly inside of this. What are you little sneakers up to, huh? Sneaking? The core sample was just left there. I looked at that and I don't know why, but I thought that the thing that we took off of it was all we needed, and I guess I thought that was part of the background. Just didn't even try. Glad I came back and checked. That's another one for the Stasis heads out there who already played it and were cringing for the past, I don't know, 2 hours and 23 minutes.
Stand by.
Stick the ice cream cone in the device.
Alert. Mining survey data received.
Daniel Tang, Gunderson, maintenance crew. Roger wants me to cap the entrance diameter to 18 feet. Makes sense. Downright logical. I'll round it up to 20 and create a bit more wiggle room. I can hear him scraping away as he works. Although I was supposed to leave hours ago, it's the least I can do to stay with him and offer my support. I've stopped trying to adjust the boring machine because I know the Geo team is working on finding the precise core frequencies that will allow us to progress, but that procedure will take several months. Despite this, I don't regret my choices. The universe is a harsh and unforgiving place. If we're not the ones struggling, someone else will likely be. That's just how it goes. This was a confidential log. Bizarre. Data get. Alright, let's plug it in. Nice. Oh shit. What were those numbers? It was like 1.9. Alright, hold on. One moment, please. 5671 hertz at 1.29.
Kane, heavy under central apparatus. 1138. Power procedure initiated.
Children should not play near this machine, Charlie.
You're probably right, Mose.
I should have wrote that stuff down because they just made me forget it. It's fine. Right back to it. Right back to it. There we go. There we are. Oh god. I like how the very first one here it's just like to fuck with you.
Warning. Kane, heavy under central apparatus. 1138 in operation. Operation should be conducted by licensed HUDA engineers only.
Is that so?
Slap the button. Progress. Oh god.
Heck, I did it. I got the drill to finish its run.
Still have all your arms?
Legs too. Looks like a cave on the other side.
That cave system will lead you to Alpha Base. Assuming you haven't destabilized its structural integrity. It very well could collapse on you. Bucket of optimism, are you, pal?
Hello? Okay, here we go. Ooh. Dead diver. Torchlight reveals hints of an open passageway, shadows dancing on a trail of mud beyond the bars of drooping stalactite.
There's a dead diver here. He died in his suit.
May his mind find the Nexus. Does he have anything useful?
Does he now? Hydrophone. Empty has-bag. Aluminum welding rods. Fairly standard diver gear. Never hurts to have some extra pockets on hand, especially ones that can withstand toxic spills and store acid. An omnidirectional recording device, super sensitive and precise. Looks like it still works. Several dozen aluminum welding rods were presumably used to maintain infrastructure. Fascinating. Acid in Hasbag or in dry bag? I'm not sure it's in it. A real hot potato. Need to haul this somewhere before it eats through the bag and starts burning into my skin. Is this what you need, Mac? I'm not so sure. I doubt it. It doesn't seem like it makes sense for this. Whoa! This was what...
Well, that did that.
Loud noises.
That does not look stable. I'd get across that fast.
I thought we were going to operate
Not
the
sure
crane.
if fast is the right approach here.
Hello? I'm having brain issues here. I'm having some kind of brain issue, right? We knocked this down so we could use it as a bridge. Yes? Got to get across it fast, right? Yeah, the lines are a little intense. They are a little eye-searing. What in the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck, Mac? The chasm falls away into inky teal darkness, clogged with roiling clouds of dark mist. A gentle dusty wind blows upward, carrying with it a scent of damp clay, while wind currents emit soft echoing noises in the far distance.
Oh, excuse me, man.
Mac, I am glad you are not dead.
Thanks, Bear.
What happened?
Crane came apart behind me. It fell into the breach.
It must have happened
Barely
fast,
made
because I blinked
Not
and it
going
was
back
gone.
that way.
I did not witness it
There is no
disintegrating.
going back.
Who are you anyway?
My name is Farhan. I was a researcher here once. Long ago. Maybe. Things are still blurry. Strange. My head hurts.
And what? You think you're pinned under rubble? How about the rest of you? Get hurting too?
No, I feel nothing. Nothing but my head. And I can't see anything. It's complete darkness.
We'll find you.
It's a brain.
Just hang on.
It's just a brain. The force of whatever violence was meted out to the bridge was such that the structural beams became warped and blackened. A pair of well-padded bags holding construction sand speaks to the degree of the assembly being undertaken to establish an encroaching foothold within the cavern. A contemporary metallic ramp leads up to the entrance of the facility, the walkway sullied by foot traffic. A mountain of sandbags hides in heaped piles underneath, temporary storage until needed elsewhere. Oh, we've got a nice, convenient ramp out of here. Right? Those aren't bones. That's not just a shitload of bones that doesn't have a tooltip or explanation or anything. Lights beamed into the charcoal blackness tease out evidence of far-flung walls, the cracked bedrock a natural bulwark between the cavern and the tumultuous ocean waters beyond. I really like the writing in this. I just enjoy reading like every single tooltip. I hope you guys don't mind listening to them because I just like reading every single one. The portable lab squats like a plastic pimple amidst the archaic stone and architecture. The entrance adorned in a foreboding crimson light.
You are in Omega Lab, a black band restricted area.
Decontaminants. The vast number of chemicals stored here suggests that the decontamination procedure was both lengthy and thorough. A container for liquid gas storage. Once filled, the fluid is fed into the piping in measured amounts to treat the decontamination solution. Decontamination equipment. Barrels of decontamination solution are dispensed to the showerheads on command. Showerheads poised to dispense cleansing formula, sterilizing equipment, and personnel entering or leaving the facility. The heavy metal has been shut off, and there appears to be no way to get through it.
Clean room sterilization system active.
Oh.
Liquid nitrogen decontamination in progress. No foreign contaminants found.
Man, I was sure this was going to kill me.
Insert biological sample for decontamination database.
Okay. Neat. Access denied. Remote lockout. Okay. You know, now that you mention it, Bone Totem does kind of sound like a dick euphemism. Pneumatic supports hold the upper lab aloft while growing flora slowly obtrudes around the structure's toes. Ripped up body. The flesh and organs of the body have mostly soft away. A nest of freshly torn skin and fibrous muscle have been torn out and stretched taut against the obelisk as if to coax the rock and absorb the remains. The bioluminescent fungi have seeped under the steel walkway, illuminating the wiring and piping laid underneath. The glyph, morbidly embellished with drying rivulets of blood, depicts abstract symbols that defy easy translation.
Kane's reign.
Is that... Oh, are they?
I do not like this.
They were vivisected.
And displayed, I imagine.
Where are we?
You are in hell. We all are.
An archaeological grid sits above an excavated mass grave, cradling hundreds of skeletal remains, heaped in mounds like ostial ant hills. The necrotic mounds are partially submerged in a layer of fungal growth and bioluminescent glitter. A handful of safety barriers attempt to ward off the overly curious and the dangerously distracted. In the presence of the flayed corpses, the attempt feels rather farcical. The floodlight illuminates the bismuthian rock faces, the rocky surface glittering as it basks in the glow. Out of the sightless void below tumble howling winds, carrying with them odors of sea salt and wet mud. This body is mostly intact, relatively speaking at least, having lost the least to whatever caused this macabre butchery. The gut has been rent open without care, the intestinal tubes removed and festooned upon the stone obelisk. A throng of bioluminescent lights glitter underneath clusters of sharpened wooden stakes. The obelisk stands bedecked in strings of human meat, pinned to the rock with steel nails. The blood splatter suggests a pattern that is ceremonial in its furnishing. Ah, mobile science lab. That sounds fun. It looks fun. It is fun. We haven't added anything to this receptacle. We have nothing to add. Maybe. Ah. Okie dokie. Well, those are gone now. A job well done. We've done it. Can we just disintegrate all of our items here? What about you? We've had you for a long time now, buddy. Okay. How did this get over here? Did I leave it there? Did it stay there? Did I double click it there? I did. Weird. Okay. Well, we put a thing in the thing. And that is it for now for that. Oh, I can go this way. All right. Peeled torso. The flesh covering the upper torso has been flayed away, revealing the rapidly decaying organs within. The effluvium of rotted waste, both pooling out and festering within, is shockingly overpowering, curdling your stomach. Splattered obelisk. Two massive lintels stand above the three obelisks, meeting at one end. Adorned between them hangs a network of meat, shredded organs, and rent skin, altogether a ghastly membranous canopy. Ah, so that's what we're looking at. Lovely. This definitely has a lot of Event Horizon vibes going on. Bioluminescent source. The source of the bioluminescence appears to be grass-like growths that accompany the larger fungal flora, emitting a vibrant blue light when submerged in darkness. A heavy tarp hangs down in an attempt to protect machinery from particulates and spores, though the tarp itself has slowly begun to host its own colony of creeping growth. Oh. A hefty pile of building supplies lies dormant. The looming quiet and vacant activity provides ample evidence that any construction projects have been hastily abandoned. Hanging bodies. The decomposing trio of bodies hang skewered upon the palisades. They dangle limply over the precipice of the giant wall, like mice impaled on thorns by hunting shrikes.
Security system, looks like, overlooking the site below.
They must have recorded everything.
Damn it. Beer, thank you for the biddies. That was very confusing. Well, we got us a nice big wrench. One of the better improvisational defensive tools. Sturdy and carries a good heft. No. Enhance. Enhance. There is a something there. Something something 6-7. It's a differently dressed person. This is the broken bridge. Who the fuck's that? Corbin Dallas? Multipass? What the fuck is that? Dr. Al-Kabor. I don't think that looks like Dr. Al-Kabor. It's the thing again. This is a lot. Just having to like capture frames. Oh. I caught it. Pretty weird. Pretty weird. The archaic wooden walkway croaks and shifts as you traverse over it. each creek harboring the treacherous potential of a ruinous snap. The pillar of geometric stone shimmers in the dull glow of the electric lights. The patterns that emboss its surface seem both too chaotic and alien to be artificial and too intricate to be extravagant or to be natural.
Never seen anything like this.
Me either. It's not like any culture on the surface.
It predates Western civilization.
At the bottom of the ocean?
It was not always at the bottom.
A small glass pod, a basket elevator of sorts, hangs suspended from a cable running down from the carved hand looming above. Its state-of-the-art form is out of place in this chamber. Seawater vomits out of the overhanging orifices and plummets into the depths of an immense well, the biting scent of salt water pervading the clouds of spray that drift back upward. Multitudinal stone hands emerge from the circular walls in a spiral pattern descending downwards into the black depths, bringing to mind a throng of prisoners reaching through bars to grasp at morsels. The gargantuan stone hand, adorned in a variety of weathered jewelry, extends outward as if in supplication. The body to which it is attached appears to have suffered damage, a portion of the upper head having been sheared away. Long wooden supports radiate out from the walkway, stretching out to the far reaches of the pit, the likely reason as to how the platform has remained intact despite its deterioration. This appears to be a dead end, although the bridge situation fucked me up last time. But yeah, I don't seem to be able to walk along this. I thought that's what we were going to do, but we're not. I would imagine that this is, let's see, another lab structure connected to the larger facility beyond. By the entrance is a computer terminal placed atop a canister, its screen displaying some form of information. I would imagine so. Pod winch. A motor or winch of some variety is nestled between the lab entrance and the sculpture's upper arm. This, I feel like, is probably on the other side of the decontamination station. Maybe? Beer, thank you for those biddies. Okay, so we weren't done with Charlie. Thick dirt has slowly flooded into the cave, slowly constricting and strangling its interior, the space between the floor and ceiling having slowly but perpetually shrunk. Roger Callan, marine biologist. Funny how seemingly insignificant events can drastically change your life. One moment I was pinging the ocean floor looking for whale signs, and the next, I was promoted. This was not how I expected my life to turn out. I had a mountain of educational debt and a miserable wife. I can still hear her voice. Who studies marine biology anyway? She repeatedly asked this question for 10 years straight. You will never amount to anything, Roger. I should have listened to my mother. Blah, blah, blah. Well, look at me now. Message. Aaron Skullwalker and Pandoria Chambers. Professors, allow me to be the first to welcome you to Alpha. This is the first momentous step toward understanding more of our past and exploiting it for future profit. I am thrilled that you have agreed to join me and Kane in this undertaking. If you have any questions, I am at your disposal. I've mapped most of the site already, and I'm preparing to lead expeditions into the temple system, which I am sure you will both want to be a part of. Until then, welcome to the last frontier on planet Earth, our very own abyss. Kane plans to exploit the fauna here. The oceans are mostly fished out, and seafood is a rare delicacy, but in this region, marine life seems to thrive. I caught it. Stupendous, definitive proof that something in this cave system is allowing complex life to exist and evolve over 20,000 feet below the ocean surface. It's beautiful. Okay, maybe not beautiful. It's a maggot. You're really making a racket, buddy. He's chewing on a toy. It's like, what is this creeping sound that it seems like it keeps getting louder? A particularly feisty one at that. It immediately latched onto my wrist and started sucking my blood. Predatory behavior means there is prey, which means there are more discoveries to be made. Professor Skullwalker, I would also like to take this opportunity to express my admiration for you in particular. Your voyages beyond the outer rims played no small part in igniting my passion for exploration. I would love to share some stories with you over a drink, perhaps, one pioneer to another. I've been feeding my new pet algae from around the base. We've no shortage of this stuff. The little beastie's appetite seems to know no limits, and its growth rate is staggering. This must have been the thing that was feeding on the geologist, Abdul. Yeah. Don't they always? The professors weren't as keen to join my expedition as I'd hoped. Chambers, I understand. I've heard about the side effects of a full-body transplant. Full-body transplant. She's probably not as fit as she looks, and getting around in a dive suit is already challenging. Skullwalker, though, I'm disappointed. One of the last true frontiersmen of our time should be thrilled to participate in honest exploration again, or at least talk about it. But all he asks me about is my family. You may be my greatest hero, sir, but even you won't entice me into speaking about my ex-wife. There's not enough rum here for that conversation. I was so eager to see how large the maggot would grow, I began feeding it my own blood. After all, that was the first thing it went for. I didn't factor in that its increase in strength has not been proportional to its growth in size. It appears to be developing a heightened awareness of its surroundings. Have you ever been looked at hungrily by a dog-sized, oozing, balloon-like thing? It's even less fun than it sounds. Yeah, for real. So notice this thing for those biddies. Message to all Alpha Base crew. Just wanted to say, should you hear loud banging in my laboratory, do not be alarmed. It's just an experiment I'm running. Everything is proceeding as intended, though I would advise against entering my work area without me, especially if you have recently eaten chicken. Thanks. Message to all Alpha Base crew. As the senior ranking member of this endeavor, I am ordering everybody to remain inside Alpha Base until further notice. Should you hear knocking, slithering, or any other unusual noise coming from outside, proceed to another part of the base, just to be safe. Then call me. Message from Corporate. Mr. Cullen, While the board appreciates your enthusiasm for this project and your role in identifying the site, they would like to remind you that your job is to facilitate the research of Professors Chambers and Skullwalker, and collect samples for our experts who just arrived on the deep sea rig. None of this requires you to conduct your own studies. The research budget will not be altered, barring exceptional circumstances, so please focus on your prescribed duties. Found the little bastard. It burrowed into the sand and was catching small fish. It seems to have evolved into an ambush predator, like a bobbit worm. Incredible. The physiological and behavioral changes are happening right before my eyes. Message from corporate. Mr. Callan, the board is indeed interested in this new specimen, but they must again remind you that your job is to simply retrieve new samples and send them to Deep Sea 15. Alpha is not yet equipped to study xeno life forms. Please consider your significant outstanding debts to Kane and the fact that, although you are separated, your ex-wife is still a shareholder of your debt, as you are of hers. Message from Deep Sea 15. A spike in seismic activity caused the collapse of the primary ingress into the cave and temple structure. We are sending a drilling technician to widen the entrance so that supply shipments can be resumed. In the meantime, you are advised to implement a ration system and reserve medications for emergencies. A fragile cave system isn't the best place to use sonic attractors, but how else am I supposed to attract larger fish? While the attractors were working, my new buddy managed to snag a few juicy specimens. The sonic attractors also wrecked most of the electrical systems and distorted the magnetic field, which the walls amplified. Maybe this will turn out to be a blessing in disguise. The new, larger entrance will be a much better staging ground for expeditions. Message to Daniel Gunderson. I imagine you're a cut-to-the-chase sort of guy, so I'd say limit it to 18 feet in diameter max, and go from there. With the recent collapse, it's the only way out of this place. Report back to me on your progress tomorrow. Well, we closed the circle on that one. Message to all Alpha Base crew. There's no good way to say this, so I'll just rip off the Band-Aid. We're sealed in, completely. I don't know exactly how it happened, but Gunderson's drilling caused another cave-in. So you know exactly how it happened. You said you didn't know, and in the same sentence you said the thing you know, the thing that did it. But fear not. We all know the value of our work, and so does Kane. I am certain they will spare no expense to free us. I'll just wait here for Gunderson to open the passage. Didn't check my gear before I left. Guess I never learn. Sheila would shake her head and laugh if she saw me now. Same old Roger, always getting ahead of himself. I wonder what she would say if she knew I named the maggot after her. The little guy's got legs now. Many of them. As if it wasn't horrifying enough. I suppose if I die, I can be satisfied that here, at the edge of the world, I brushed up against mysteries beyond my comprehension, mysteries to which I led the way. Only getting 1 BPS. I guess they're moving the data receivers elsewhere. The Newman is not going to be happy trapped down here. I'm amazed Kane would risk pissing that thing off. Message from corporate. This probably arrived post-mortem. Mr. Callan, with deep regret, the board must inform you that we have abandoned this forward operation. Please understand that this is not a reflection on your work to date, but the result of repeat violations by the Newman. The isolation of Alpha lends itself perfectly to a seal and forget procedure. The board asks that you pass on their sincere regret for these unfortunate events to the rest of the crew and thank them for their service. You will all be pleased to know that your hard work won't be lost. The construction of a new base has already been approved. In light of the above, we have released your ex-wife from her debt. She will surely be in the Nexus, waiting for you with her arms open wide. Congratulations, and farewell. I love it. That's so good. It's so awful and so good. Yes, you are a dog. You are. You are. It's true. Stalactites. The draped stalactites suggest this area was at one time a sealed cavern. Ancient lava flow. The dried remains of ancient lava flow have created a ramp-like structure, allowing access to an area beyond. Are you squirming and worming? Are you worming and squirming? Is that what you're doing? Well, this is a signal, I think. This is an alert. This is a notice, a message that it is dog time. It's dog time. Is it dog time? Are you freaking adorable? Your little licker's going. Your little licker's going. It's the bun. Have you seen the bun? It's the bun. Hi, the bun. Hi, the bun. Your licker's just going crazy. What are these moves? You had to lick my hand just then? You're so cute. You're so cute. You're so cutie cute. Alrighty. Well, my friends, this has been another beautiful evening of exploration. I'm loving Stasis Bone Totem. It's fantastic. It's basically everything I wanted and hoped for from a Stasis sequel. Very, very good. And I'm excited to continue, which we will do tomorrow. And that's it. I'll put the game on for you guys and do the usual thing of sitting there until you kick the bucket. And that'll be that for tonight. Thanks for watching. Have a great night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Right after, I'm going to start the server first this time. There we go. Server go. Server is go. Alrighty. Have fun and good night.